Hello everyone, Avery here, Southern Fried Knowledge. Going to do my first DIY, and this DIY is going to be a DIY project on dental repairs. I've looked on YouTube and I've seen several different companies and guys showing you how to do this particular thing I'm going to be doing, and that's how to change a gasket on a Statim 2000 or a Statim 5000. They both work the same way. 5000 is just a bigger gasket. Everyone I've seen on YouTube, those guys don't know what they're talking about. So if you want to know the right way to make it where it will seal and actually work, just watch what I do, because they showed you half of what to do in a silly manner that just didn't make much sense. So I said, you know what, somebody's got to show people out there, because I'm sure you've had to call some tech in after y'all tried what they said and it didn't work. So you know what, let's see if we can get this to work here. Give me a second to set this up here. Here we are out in the shop. I don't even have all my tools. In fact, we're going to be working, this is a Statim 5000. If you're familiar with it, the 5000's got a little swing over to lock it down. The 2000 is smaller, as you can see. Now what I've got is a 2000 and a 5000 that actually needs to be changed. Right at the moment, we don't have a 5000 gasket, but they work the same on both of them. The only reason I'm doing both of these at the same time is this one, if you can see, the gasket has already been removed. It was already like that, but it needs a new gasket. But pay careful attention, and I'm going to show you what everybody else on the internet seems to be not telling you that you're supposed to do. I mean, just a side note, those guys get a little crazy with the soap. They're calling it lube. It's a little bottle of soap that comes with them. You get a pack if you get it from somewhere like DCI or RPI. If you get the Scican, it comes in a little bottle like this, a little vial. And this one's already been used a little bit. They give you plenty to do it. And these guys are telling you, just dump it all in there, just smear it all up. Well, what that soap does, if you got it too slick, it's going to bubble. It's not going to seal the first 2 or 3 times you run that Statim. It's got to be dried off of there. You don't want to use that much soap. One company that's a big prominent company for working on Statims and stuff out of North Carolina, they just dump the whole bottle in the middle of the container. They open it up, dump the bottle in there, and just scoop it out with your finger. Well, you've just made a soapy mess in the bottom. You don't need to take the tray out. So let's go back before I get ahead of myself and show you how to take the seal out. Most anyone can do that, but this is a DIY thing, so we're going to show you. It's got, you take a little, I've got a little spatula you can buy online, DCI or something. It's a little tool that goes in there and grabs it. A precision screwdriver, small screwdriver, anything like that will work. You just find you a corner, pull it out. Even if you get a hold of it and mess it up, this one's going in the trash can anyway. You don't want to scratch your tray all up. Then you just go around it and pull that thing out of there. Get it all the way out and chunk it over there. He's going to wind up in the trash can. Like I said, I do not technically have this Statim 5000 seal. What we're going to do is show you what they did wrong, and then I'm going to put the seal in this 2000 to show you how to put the seal back in. But demonstrating this part will show you. Here's another thing they didn't go over real good. A couple of them did mention it. I don't know if you can see the amount of rust that is up under this lip. You can lose your seal on that. This is the first half. The most important thing is actually on the tray. The most important thing they did not show you, I'll go ahead since we're talking about it, so in case you pop off the channel, what they don't show you in those crazy videos that they're going around telling you how to do it, I'm not sure if you can see this little line of buildup. That is off of the old seal. This is part of the old seal that has come apart on this tray. So if you go and do what they said, you put the new seal in the tray and put it back on there and you're good to go, those guys are full of crap and they're telling you the wrong thing. If you don't clean this off, it will not seal. That is a fact. It's not just me bashing somebody that don't know what they're doing, but I don't like to see people on telling people the wrong way to do stuff. I might talk like a hillbilly, but I know a thing or two about this stuff. So what you clean this with, you get a scouring pad. You can put soap on it if you want to, but with a green Scotch-Brite scouring pad. Scotch-Brite did not sponsor this. Scican did not sponsor this. Nobody sponsored this. You're just watching what I know, and I'm telling you the truth because nobody sponsored it. Alright, now if you want to put soap on there, you can, but what you do, take that Scotch-Brite and go all the way around that top inch, half inch at least. You got to get that stuff off of there. And go around, and then you fill it. If it's not getting it, you might have to put some soap on there, a little bit more elbow grease. You may have to put a little bit of soap on this one, because this one has been setting up in the shop for a while. Just prepping these trays so I could sell them on eBay. I didn't have a Statim 5000, but I did have this extra tray, and I can't sell it if I don't put a new seal on it. We may not need any soap, but likewise, if you needed soap, squirt you some soap on there and go at it. Do the same thing over here. And you want to run your finger over everything you're doing. And if you're still feeling, because you can feel that stuff on there, if you're still feeling it, you might have to use soap. Don't try this with a paper towel. It's not going to cut it, but it's Scotch-Brite. I know you probably can't see that, but the corner of that, you see all that black gunk that's right there on the corner? That's what's coming off of this. And those little pieces of rubber that have come off of that old seal will form a gap, which is where you're going to have a leak. It's not going to seal, it's not going to hold pressure, and the loads are going to drop. Those guys didn't mention this. This is actually probably the second most important thing, but if you don't do this as well as putting that seal in the top properly, you're going to have problems. It's not that hard. I've got 6 ruptured discs in my back and I'm 65. If I can do this, everybody else will be able to do it. It's not that much to it. If you don't take the time to do it right, it ain't going to be done right. So that looks pretty good. Now here's another thing I do. So that don't dry back on there. I get a paper towel. A full paper towel. Don't get me started on select the size paper towels. I've never made a half of this. That's a whole other story. Just look, do you see that? That's what was left, that the Scotch-Brite just left there that was going to dry. Most of it's in the Scotch-Brite. This is the crap that those other guys don't seem to think is important enough to tell you, oh, you might want to clean this. Now, here's another thing. You don't usually have to worry about this, but look at the tray. Look at it, see if it looks flush and plumb. A lot of times, sometimes the girls or whoever's working in the lab, in the sterilization, will pull it out, and for whatever reason it's too hot, and they pull it out and they drop it on the floor, and lots of times I've seen them have pretty big dings in them. So lots of times you can take this on the counter and check and see if it's flush or not rounded, and sometimes you want to make sure it's not pushing out a lot. Straighten it back up a little bit. I've seen some that have pretty good sized dings. That gets a little bit more complicated. You got to start working some careful work with some pliers and get that big dent out of it. If they just knocked it on a sharp surface and knocked a pure old indention in it, a V-shaped groove or something, then those are pretty hard to get out of there. But I do like to make sure it's plumb. Wipe all that back off. Everything looks good. We can put the inside of this one back in there. Alright. I almost forgot we don't have the seal for this. But while we've got it, so when the seal comes, I'm going to order a seal from DCI. You can order it from Scican. You can get, different sources, RPI, DCI. So Sometimes the doctors may not have accounts with some of these, but you see all that rust in there. Hopefully it's showing up on the camera. But anyway, up under this lip there's rust. So there, you take the Scotch-Brite again and add a little bit more water. I might want to put a little soap on that because that looks pretty rusty. Now, where'd my soap get off to? Here's my vial of soap. I'm gonna put a little bit of soap on there this time. Cap that off, because it's not uncommon to knock something over, and then you got a soapy mess on your countertop. So the worst of the rust was down here on this end. You want to get that Scotch-Brite and put it up under that lip, and be careful with that lip. It is sharp. You start putting too much elbow grease on there and you slide your finger across it, it can cut you if you hit it wrong. Because you got to clean it pretty good. That looks better than it did. We got to go a little bit more. This part, believe it or not, is not as important as cleaning the outside lip. That's where it's making it seal. It doesn't usually, but if it's really rusty, I like to get that out of there before it starts getting any worse. It's not usually going to lose its seal behind the seal like that, but anywhere you can get any of that debris out of the way, it is always a good idea. We're going to finish up with this one pretty quick because we need to go ahead and finish up on that one over there since we don't have the seal. I'm going to take this paper towel, go in there and get some of that soapiness out, go up under it, see what it's pulling out. I think one of those other guys did actually mention cleaning this lip. They didn't mention, nobody mentioned to clean that, and that is very crucial. If you don't clean that, you ain't going to get a seal. Sometimes you'll feel it and it don't feel all out of whack if you've just recently changed it, but if it's been a little while, it's going to feel rough to the touch. It's going to be like sandpaper. You want to get it where it's smooth as a baby's behind. Just, you know, get it where it's smooth and it's going to make a good seal. Common sense, but those guys don't seem to have any. Alright, so we clean this one up. We're going to order the gasket from DCI and get back to this one at a later date. But we do want to show you how to complete one. This is the 2000. We're going to pull him out, and then again, this one, if you can see that lip, is crusty. I mean, it's just, there's no way that's gonna seal. Even over here, right there is really rough. That is real rough. Yeah, you ought to be able to see that. Other guys don't seem to think that's too important. Actually, the inside of this looks pretty good. There's a spot or two. In fact, I'll go ahead and hit it, and then we're gonna clean that up, and then I'll show you how to put the seal back in. I mean, y'all can go over there and watch your stuff, come back and watch mine again, and you decide who's got more sense about this. I mean, and some of those guys don't do anything. The bunch in North Carolina, big company, just sells and works on autoclaves. I've met some of them, they're pretty decent fellas, but if that's how they're going to teach people to do it, dump a whole bucket of lube out, the soap out in there, and just leave it in there and throw that back in an autoclave to make soap bubbles everywhere and make a mess? No. And don't even tell them about all this stuff here. That's just, I mean, really, who taught them how to do it? Because they sure ain't got it right. I can't believe they pumping them things out the door and saying they're fixed, because they're going to leak if you don't clean the outside of that tray. It will leak. The other thing that'll make it leak, and we're going to get into that in just a minute. I need another paper towel. Once again, no one's ever made a half a mess, so we recommend full-size sheets of paper towels. Select the size. That guy needs to be punched in the nose. I've never made a half a mess. I could use a half a loaf of bread. Look at that. Unbelievable. And these guys ain't worried about that. Oh, no, that's not. Don't worry about all that nasty dirt in there. It'll probably seal, maybe. Yeah. I don't think so. Alright. We still got to clean this guy up. Oh boy, do we. Alright, bud, you're gonna need a little bit of soap on you. Well, that's extra thick and crispy. You don't need to use the whole vial. Like I said, this vial had already been used on a gasket or two before we started on this one. That soap will help cut it off a little quicker. Yeah. I was just shaking my head watching those videos. I said, yeah, y'all tell them people how to do it like that. Then maybe they'll call me to come and fix it. Well, there'll be a service call. It ain't going to seal, and they're going to say, this don't work. What we do wrong? Ooh, man, that's the dirt on there. If y'all could see that, I don't know. That's just soot. It looks like soot right there. We're going to actually have to pick a different point of this. Put a little bit more water and a little bit more soap. That one was crusty. I've seen cleaner barbecue grills than that. It's like, whoa. A bit more soap on here. Cut this thing some more. That's looking pretty good. That feels better. This one we're still working on. We just got to get nasty with this one, because this one has been sitting out here in the shop for a while too. I had several trays I had. I've got 3 Statim 2000s I got to fix and repair and sell. But I had about 5 or 6 Statim 2000 trays. Well, I don't need so many trays. I can go ahead and fix them and sell some of them. We got enough paper towel over here. Select the size. Yeah, I could use a half a loaf of bread. Buy a loaf of bread and half of it goes bad, especially if you buy yourself and you're trying to eat a loaf of bread. You don't eat bread every day. You just throw more bread away than you use them. So y'all come up with a half a loaf of bread and don't give me no more select the size paper towel. I'm trying to entertain y'all a little bit while I'm trying to, also at the same time, you're learning something. You're learning how to do this the right way, not none of that crap these other guys are doing. I don't see how they sleep at night telling you all the wrong stuff. Southern Fried Knowledge. Like, subscribe, and view my other videos. Not all of them are DIY, but I plan to make some more DIYs on dental repairs, stuff you can do around your house. Anyway, so we've got that. Ooh, that is so slick right now. That is good stuff. That's good. Maybe we should encourage those guys that's doing it wrong to come watch my channel. If y'all see them, tell them to come watch my channel. We'll show them how to do it right. This ain't my first rodeo on these things. I've did this for a few years. Anyway, where is... Here we go. Oh, one of them mentioned, oh, these was like, this is green. This is the new style. Or the black one's the old style. That's kind of misinformation too. They used to make black ones, Scican did, then they started making green ones. RPI and DCI's always made black ones, so the color ain't no improper. It does not mean it's not the right gasket. They just make them out of different color rubber. So, well, that needs cleaned up a little bit. It was in the bag. It must have got some dust off of that. But, and I do that, and we're going to put lube on it anyway. I want to get some of that off of there before I put some soap on it, because sometimes that soap will smear that sandy grit around. Let's get some of that off of there. Then we're going to show you how to put just a little bit. You want to put just enough to make it slick enough to move it around, because you've got to kind of fit that thing in there. The other thing that a lot of people don't do, 9 times out of 10 they don't, I don't know if these little, see that little nipple there sticking up, and there's one there, that is your corners. And then out the back, not sure if any of this is showing up, I might be too close. The back's going to have some too. It's not showing up real good, but they've got little things sticking out, nipples that's got to line up. Those back ones have to line up with the back holes in the back of this. Alright, anyway, let's just go ahead and get started putting this seal back in. You put a little bit of this on your finger. Actually, you can put that on there. You can run it down there. I usually do it like that. Get the rambling on. I forget what I'm doing, but I'm still doing it right, even though I forgot. I can forget and do it better than they can. And it's not that I'm all that great. It's just for whatever reason, those guys don't know what they're talking about. They sure ain't telling you everything there is to tell you. And there's a lot of misinformation in everything these days, so, you know, maybe it's not their fault. Maybe nobody showed them the right way. The Southern Fried Knowledge, and y'all will learn how to do it. Throw him up in there, pick you a corner, any one to do, and you watch those little nipples I was talking about and get them sort of close, and you start putting it in there. Just do your corners first. There's one corner, almost got the other one started. Oh, this is going to be ugly. That one's sort of started. Don't worry about the length, the middles, or anything like that. Get your corners in there. That one's sort of in. Go to our final corner. Like I say, it don't matter what corner you start on. Then you come to the other parts of it and push that in. Just push it right in there. And I'll show you how to straighten that out and make sure everything's good in a minute. We just want to get it in there. It should go right up in there. Sometimes, you know how sometimes when you want to do something in a hurry, it don't never want to do it just because it wants to be fun with you. Well, this one's going okay. So far, so good. Got them all but this one back over here. Get him in there. Now, they're basically in there. There's going to be a couple of things we got to do. We first got to look. Don't know if the nipple on the corner is going to show up. If you got to have that nipple there and one there. So let me take a closer look at it with my eyeballs. And these glasses ain't the ones that I was supposed to got, so I'm having to squint and look at one bottom slit in the bottom of these glasses to see. Is that one in there? Your glasses is giving you trouble, you can switch over to the flashlight. It's always helpful. Yep, that one's in there. How about this one? That one's in, that one's in, that one's in, that one's in. I must have got them pretty close to start with. That one's in. How about the back? The back is closed, but they got to go. And then you take your thumb and push it. You can kind of groove it and slide it. That's what that soap helps do. It's not oil, it's soap. Now what the other guy says actually went too far. You don't want to take no precision screwdriver or anything and start pushing in there. You can tear the seal. So it's okay to use a screwdriver or something like that to get the old one out, but not to put the new one in. I'm bragging too quick. Got one part here that's wanting to be ugly. Get in there, boy. Alright, we're going to start. Let's see if I can pull that up. I might pop that in there. Might not. Yeah, that kind of helped it. So then you want to take your fingernail or the edge of your thumb and get it in that groove up under there and kind of fluff it up. Sometimes they'll pop right up, and then run it down it. It brings that seal out where it'll mate with the tray a little better. Finger up under the edge and run it. So if it ain't standing up good, it's not going to seal. You want to get it all standing up nice and fluffy. Well, it's not really fluffy, but you know what I mean. Then you can actually look. I don't know if I can get that to show up, but if you're looking straight down on the seal, you can see on the tray, you can see the seal needs to be coming out from that metal. And that tells you it's out further than the edge of the metal, which is why we're still doing this a little bit. We're going to bring it out real good. Gonna go all the way around it. Do it over here. Kind of hard to do this where you can see it on the camera, but I'm just running my finger up under that lip all the way, getting him up on there. Check these back ones one more time. They look really good. We've already cleaned that. Put our tray back in. I'm also going to, don't look too bad in here. I'm going to wipe that out a little bit so it'll be more presentable. Put that back in there. Put this guy in here. And you'll hear it when you push it down. It's kind of like a Tupperware lid when it goes. You'll hear the air sucking out and blowing out that end. That means it's a good tight seal. So this one's ready to go. I don't know if that's going to come up on this. See if you can hear it. Probably not, but anyway. That is the proper way to put on a Statim seal. This is a Statim 2000, and we also showed you how to take the seal off of the Statim 5000, but we're just waiting on that. I do appreciate y'all watching this video. Come back and look for other videos. I'll try to show you some tips on other autoclaves and other dental equipment and even stuff for your house. Might be pouring cement, might be wiring something up. I've been an electrician for 45 years. Actually 47 years, I believe. 47 years. I've been doing dental work for 25 years now. Mostly do dental now. Still licensed electrician though. But anyway, this is how you do it. This is the right way to do it. The other guys are wrong. And I'm not trying to say, woo, look at me, I'm right. I'm just telling you the other guys are wrong. It's just a plain simple fact. If you do not clean the edge of this right here, you ain't done it right. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and come back for more fun.